Okay, so here's another battle against somebody. This dude is using a Sun team, so it looks like Dick Trio might not be a completely useless piece of shit in this battle. So he's got Ninetales obviously because Sun, Volcarona, and Latios look to be like the biggest threats to my team. Mainly because that Latios is probably not gonna be choiced. It's more than likely gonna be extra belt. But if it is choiced, then I should have a little bit easier time like handling it. But still, that Volcarona is gonna be kind of gay, especially if I don't manage to get up rocks. Cause he, first of all, my stealth rock user is Doug Trio, so that shit is auto fail. And then he also has a spinner, obviously, which is always gonna be on a Sun team. So yeah, I'm kind of worried about that Volcarona. Victini, I don't know, depending on what item it has, probably not gonna be too much of a threat though, because its main move is gonna be making that shit slow. So I could always bring something in to revenge kill it or U-turn on it or something. And he's got Ditto, which is kind of weird. I don't usually face Ditto, but it shouldn't be anything I can't handle. So I pretty much think he might want to lead off with that Donphan, just because I don't know, because he can. And I pretty much just want to lead off with Tentacruel just to try to burn that bitch first turn, get off some damage, break the sturdy, and yeah. So he's actually gonna end up sending out the Ditto first turn, and this is actually pretty good for me because this Tentacruel doesn't have shit that can hurt itself. I have Toxic, Sub, Scald, and Rabbit Spin. So I guess he could try to stay in here and Scald, which is kind of a bad move because I actually figured he might switch, which is why I went for the sub. And even if he did decide to stay in, sub was still the better move, since Ditto is pretty much 100% sure he's gonna be choiced, so he's gonna be forced to lock himself into something, and Scout is gonna be like a 18 hit KO on my sub. So this is pretty much why I was predicting the switch. I guess I could have been going for my own Scout trying to get the burn, but I figured he would switch since there's not really any point to stay in. So there I actually ended up going for the sub just because I wanted to make sure I had a sub up when he switched out to something. So I'm gonna see what the fuck the Latios uses and get off a Toxic on it, and it'll let me know if he has leftovers or not. And I don't see leftovers, so I'm assuming he's probably gonna be Specs, extra belt, or something. So I could go into Genesect, but he might predict that and go for HP Fire or something. So I'm gonna go into my Politoed and pretty much just Toxic stall and to get up the rain. So I don't know what the fuck I do here. I think what happened is that I'm pretty sure that guy specs based on the damage that he did. So I was predicting the Psysock to come in again. So I went to Genesect to try to resist it. So that's gonna force out the Politoed, and I just went for Thunder just because I want to kill that fucking Ditto. But he predicts the obvious move, and he goes into his Donphan. So now I'm gonna try to go into Ferrothorn to take either an Earthquake or whatever, but I knew he was gonna go for Stealth Rocket. I just want to get up some spikes. I need some hazards up because I need that fucking sturdy down, and I just hazards are always a good thing. There's no need to explain hazards, but yeah, pretty much here I knew he's probably gonna try to will-o-wisp me more than likely, but he goes for Energy Ball. I guess maybe predicting my Politoed to come in. So I'm gonna end up going for a substitute here as he tries to burn me. I figured he was probably gonna switch, but I don't know. I guess he doesn't really care because he does have his Sun up, and Scald isn't really gonna be doing shit to him because of that. And Ninetales actually has decent special defense. So yeah, I get off a Scout on this Latios, and it doesn't do anything at all. But this does give me an opportunity to spin away the rocks that he put up. So later on, I might be able to bring in my Tornadus person thingy or whatever, and then fire off some hurricanes or something without having to worry about stealth rock damage, even though I do have regenerator. But he locks himself into Psyshock again or something. I don't even know what the fuck he used. Yeah, he locks himself into Psyshock, so I'm gonna go into my Genesect again, and I believe I'm gonna go straight for the U-turn, as he is going to end up going into his Ditto. So he's gonna copy my Genesect. He knows my moveset already, and I'm pretty much just gonna go for the U-turn just because it was the best move at the time. And now I know he is choiced, so I know I could go into my Polytoad, go for the protect, get off some leftovers recovery, and also scout for what move he's gonna pick. So I go for the protect here, like I said. He ended up going for thunder, so he has a few options here. He could either switch out knowing I have my deck trio, or he could predict me to predict him to switch out and stay in here going for the thunder and possibly kill off my Polytoad, thus winning the weather war and probably end up winning the entire battle. So I guess he predicted wrong. I didn't really have anything to lose, to be honest, because if I stayed in there with my Polytoad, then he was gonna fucking wreck me, and of course I don't want that. And if he did decide to switch, which probably would have been the better move on his part, if he switched, then I don't have anything to lose because he already spun away his hazards, so my focus edge is still gonna be intact. So even if he switches out to something which is an unfavorable matchup for me, which is gonna be very, very likely, just because Doug Trio doesn't really have too many favorable matches on his team. But I don't know, like I said, I didn't have anything to lose, so I went to Doug Trio. Gonna get up some Stealth Rock real quick, even though I know he has the Donphan, but like I said, he's locked in here, so I'm pretty much free to do whatever the fuck I want to do. So yeah, I believe I'm gonna go for the Earthquake here just to get off a little bit more damage on it. Hopefully not kill it though, because I still have a plan. I don't want to straight go for the kill because that'll be stupid, since he does have his Donphan, which is going to be his spinner, and Donphan is going to take like 0.5% from my fucking Earthquake. So he's going to be able to pretty much spin for no reason, and I'm not going to get off any damage on his team at all. So I'm not going to try to kill it. What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to go into Ferrothorn right here this turn. I know I slowed this down a fuckload, but whatever, I needed to say some shit. So, like I said, I'm going to go into Ferrothorn, and I'm not going to take shit from the Thunder, and I don't really care if he paralyzes me, because it'll only make my Gyro Ball that much more powerful. And I'm going to force him to go out into something. He doesn't really have too much that wants to take a Power Whip after Stealth Rock damage, so what I'm hoping he'd do is go into Donphan, which is exactly what he'll do. And now he basically has two options. He could either get up his Stealth Rock of his own, or he could spin away my Stealth Rock, which would probably be the better move, and it is what he ends up doing. So he spins away all my shit, but I don't really give a shit because I still got my deck trio, and I could probably get him up sooner or later. So he's got no rocks up. There are no fucking entry hazards on the field. And he brings in this Victini. I obviously don't want to stay in there, but the rain is still up, so I'm going to go into Tentacruel pretty much as fodder, but it turns out I end up living. So I'm thinking this guy's like, I don't know, Bandit or something maybe, but this actually surprised me. Tentacruel managed to get off a one-hit KO, which is very rare. I never see that because Tentacruel doesn't have the best special attack in the world. Then again, he was at -1 special defense, and it is in the rain, so whatever. Victini just got fucking wrecked. Now he's going to go into this Mozilla Firefox thingy and get up his sun, get rid of my rain, so that's not going to be any good. And I'm going to go for the Scout, just trying to get off some damage, and he goes into Ditto. I don't really know why. That might have possibly been a KO, especially if I got the burn, it would have been a definite KO, and it doesn't really make any sense for him because I'm just gonna bring in my Genesect now that the burn kills me off, and I'm free to go for a U-turn. And he decides to go into his Volcarona, which isn't gonna take this U-turn too well at all, but he does get the flame body damage on me, which is kind of gay, but whatever. So now, I don't really have too many options left. Pretty much going to be forced to go into this Polytoad. He's going to fucking Butterfly Dance. What's it called? I think that's what it's called. Quiver Dance. No, it's called Quiver Dance now. So, he's going to Quiver Dance, and I'm going to fire off a Scald. And then he's going to do like fucking 90% to me with the fucking Quiver. The Bug Buzz. But I should be able to live the attack and then kill him off with the next water move. So, looks like my Polytoad's about to get wrecked, but like I said, I should be able to live, except he gets a fucking crit, thus eliminating my Polytoad, and now he wins the Weather War. But I don't really mind the loss of the Weather War at this point, since his Volcarone is pretty much the only thing that's gonna be needing the weather. So yeah, it's pretty much too little too late. I don't give a fuck if he has the sun up, because I have my Duck Trio. Gonna be able to live and kill him off with a crit that probably mattered, because Duck Trio is just a weak ass piece of shit. I hate this thing. Anyway, now he's gonna go into his Ditto, use my own ability against me. Not that I was probably gonna switch out anyway, but since he locked himself in the reversal, I'm free to go into my fucking threat, Tornadoes, Hurricanedas, and I know he's probably gonna go into Ninetales to get rid of my rain, and also to, just get up his sun and shit. And it's also the best thing he has, because Latios, even though it will resist Focus Blast, it's not gonna really like it, because it's toxic and shit. So luckily I am able to fire off 2 Focus Blasts. They do not miss. So Choice Specs Choice Specs Focus Blast doing some work. And now he's going to go into his Ditto, misses his Hurricane, which didn't really matter because I would have lived anyway. So now I'm going to go into Ferrothorn. He did get up his sun, which means Hurricane only has a 50% chance to hit. So here I go for Spikes for absolutely no reason. That might have been a misclick, but I should have just went for Gyro Ball, because he's only got this dude and Latios left. But it didn't really matter, because he ends up getting a crit, which is kind of gay, but whatever. Now I'm just gonna be forced to go into my Tornadoes here and go for the U-turn, because it will not miss. And yeah, now I'm gonna go into my Genesect. So I'm thinking I pretty much lost due to that crit and that misclick on my part, since if he goes into Latios, he might have Thunderbolt and it might be able to kill me off. So I'm going to go for the U-turn, and it turns out he's not Scarfed. Well, actually, he is Scarfed, but he was running Modest Scarf, so I outspeed, and I'm able to win the game. So, yeah, this battle was fucking long as fuck, but it was okay. So, comment, rate, all that shit. I'm out.